MEC versus BBL, our first best of 3 series for today. And I'd like to talk about MEC first, about the squad that we know can shine so bright, but we just have not seen them there yet, Kakuka.
Yeah, exactly. Every single thing that MEC has tried to bring in new, as for example that fade on bind on the previous week, has not looked the sharpest. But hey, we got Nats back on the Viper, we got Defo actually playing on that chamber and doing it beautifully. Actually, the first time that he ever played a Sentinel. But today the stakes are so important because both the teams are coming in with a win, with a loss. Also fighting for playoffs, and also MEC has only played against BBL a couple of times in the past, and it was 1 year ago, and we know all the changes that BBL has gone through, so I don't think they're familiarized with what they're going to see.
Well, MEC from 1 year ago is a completely different team as well. We have been speaking about Navi's playstyle yesterday and how it was like essentially the same as early MEC, and this is something that they swapped. But not only the playstyle swapped, because they also swapped the place where they play from. And now they're on a boot camp, and they're going to be playing from one room. And for a team that is just so synergetic, and I feel like they like each other as well, might be just a huge positive thing for them.
Do you see the Redgar one? I think it's a bait, because we all know how Redgar sits when he's playing.
Oh, how is it?
Like this. Like this. So I think that the monitor is going to be slightly closer. Let's put it like that. Also, it's the first time this year that they're going to be against a Turkish team. So it's a lot to count in.
Something to look into also. On Telestrator, Doctor, again, wow, emergency rooms all day.
Yeah, and this time is something very peculiar, because not on every map you're going to see a Brimstone, but specifically you don't predict that you're gonna see him on the Icebox, right? And yet we can speak about how MEC is using Brimstone on Icebox, where you typically see Omen instead, if there's even a second controller. But it's a very efficient and simple way. So on defense, we're gonna see Chronicle typically just put one smoke over time and over here on the initial A main entrance, which basically stops a push from the opponent for 20 seconds. Now, okay, that's 20 seconds, but what if the Brimstone just uses this smoke 3 times in a row? That's a 1 minute being stolen from that round, and that is a very simple but effective way of using the Brimstone. But then the second way of using it, this character, is on the attack, where it can be instantly like affecting the map. Think about it this way: Brimstone is the only character that can instantly smoke at the same time different positions, and that's something that MEC is using here very well. So we're gonna see one smoke being used here on Boiler, and then the second smoke is gonna be used on the right side of screens, which will essentially make the player watching from A main not gonna be the player from A main is not gonna be aware if someone is crossing mid. So the entire mid control is being gathered now, and after that we're gonna see that the players are gonna move through tube towards the kitchen, and the third smoke is gonna be used on this Killjoy turret, so they gather even more space. And that's only 300 credits being sacrificed by the Brimstone, but also, like, remember, there's still a Viper in this team, so those smokes are supplemental to the entire utility kit of the team, which gathers so much space. But remember, you can always just play Reyna instead of the Brimstone. It's gonna be all fun.
Stop right there. You know what? Highlighted player, Defo. Kakuka.
Yes, exactly. I was mentioning that it was beautiful to actually see him on the chamber. The first time that he played any Sentinel, because you have Nats on the team, he's going to be playing on the Cypher, you know that he can rely on that. But when you see that Jet is not working, and also that you're playing in a team full of superstars, but Defo has always been, you know, that one that we didn't mention that much. I love what he did on Chamber on that map in combination with the Brainstorm, how he was anchoring and actually feeling more comfortable, something that I wanted to see from him, so I hope that he repeats it in the future.
I mean, this team is just full of superstars, and you can always specify something about every single player. I feel like Defo is sometimes underrated still, right? Because it's being overshadowed. Like, the entire team is now being shadowed still by Nats, who's like the main brain of the team, right? But then we have seen Chronicle being like described as one of the best players on the planet, and maybe this is the time now for Defo to shine.
Yeah. So much potential for MEC to shine again. This is what we're missing. But on the other side is BBL, their opponent. You mentioned the first time that MEC will be going up against a Turkish squad here.
Yeah, this year at least, and not a lot of experience for that. But BBL has been changing and evolving so much. And even this first 2 weeks, the difference from what we witnessed on stage 1 to stage 2 is, in my eyes, abysmal. The way that they have adapted to not only being a Turkish team, but actually seeing through that, not only composition-wise. I think that during week 1 and week 2, we saw major changes in roles, in agents, and it's looking good, even though they didn't manage to get that win against Team Liquid, just because I think that the Fracture was insanely close up against each other. I still see the potential and for the upset against Mech today.
Well, remember also, you mentioned so many like changes in the roles and so on. I wanted to speak a little bit about the history of some of the players in the team, because Pora, that is the IGL of BBL Esports right now, he was performing the best when he was not actually IGLing, and he was playing in an international team, and he was the lurker of the team. That was for Team Heretics during the first strike, and he was one of the most terrifying players to play against. And when he's playing in BBL, when he has more responsibilities, he's a bit on the quieter side. He's not fragging that much. He's just like so busy with, I'm assuming, micromanaging the team that he just doesn't have space for himself.
You want even more statements to kind of put behind BBL, hey, this team can do more. Enzo yesterday from Fnatic was talking about it. So let's hear it again, what he had to say.
I would say Mech on the first game would win, but it's going to be a close game because BBL, we practice quite a lot against them, and they're pretty good. Like honestly, they're playing really well.
Even from Enzo, this is coming. You both were saying, oh, he's a really nice guy. Well, maybe he speaks the truth in this one for BBL.
Yeah, exactly. Last year, I think it was all about Mech being the Scream Kings. Nobody can beat them. They're actually so strong, and they show the same on officials. If now we have the same respect for BBL, let's see it on the server.
Well, I have a very specific opinion about scrim results, because if teams want to play scrims efficiently, like scrims are not really real games.
About winning, yeah.
Yeah, they're not about winning. They're about drilling, exercising, and like patterns. You know, you go into a game and you have like a mindset. This is the game where we actually practicing, for example, our default setups on attack or our default setups on defense, and you're not taking like full advantage of the game. So hearing the statement from Enzo, I'm just gonna like cut it in half, because you know, yeah, he's a very nice guy and very outspoken. I love Enzo, but I feel like he might be a little bit pushing it too much here.
Take it with a dash of salt, as Lothar is saying. But our highlighted player for this one is Kushner X. So what does he have to do really to show up for this matchup?
So obviously, it's not only the opening kills that we're going to be expecting from Kushner. I think that he was doing a great job on Neon. I think that actually against Liquid, it wasn't until they had a pause and Kushner started with his ultimate and just killed. I think that he aced on that same round. We need him to step up in the same way, because he is the player that when the team most needs, always performs.
Yeah, and the thing is,
I know there's something that you don't like about it.
I'm the grumpy old guy that always will have to add something, right? But for me, Executioner feels like he's playing well on characters that give him the freedom of mobility on the map. So when he's playing Neon, when he's playing Raze, he can be very creative when it comes to creating space. But when he's playing on Chamber, and we have seen that in the past, he wasn't playing the best, because I felt like he was always missing good timing on putting his utility and not playing it efficiently. So Executioner is great on the aim, but not the best on playing the more, let's say, slow-paced passive game.
What maps are we expecting then, Kaguga?
Okay, so the thing is that for Mech, on the first week, they decided to not ban Haven, and that did not work well. It's nice to try, but for the second week, they brought back that ban. I don't think that is a map that is ready just yet. And for the side of BBL, they've been banning the bind, but it's very confusing, and it gives us hope in some sense, the fact that now they're playing the maps that we didn't see on stage 1. So I expect some creativity here.
Well, I would hope so as well. With the Icebox with the Brimstone, right, was some of the creativity that we would like to see. And I would love to absolutely see this same map again, because I would love to see if the Brimstone will be used exactly the same way, or if they find a different appliance to the utility. And funny what you say about Haven is that Mech chose Haven against Guild from all of those teams,
I know.
right?
A report is in.
Oh, we have the
Friends,
chance. Okay.
we got Fracture Breeze for the 2 times. It did not get played at all. And then in the same weekend, we get Breeze twice and Ascent last. Gokuga.
So the thing is that I expect the ban from BBL is what they decided to ban on the first 2 weeks. Now, it does scare me, that Breeze that you were mentioning, because that was and is a stellar map for Mech until proven the opposite, because they haven't haven't lost in it since August, and they've always been super strong. Lackluster on the attack. Yeah, we've seen that in the past, but I'm really looking forward to Fracture, because the last time that we saw Mech playing here, it was against Fnatic on the playoff semifinal, and the composition looked solid, but the win wasn't still there. And what we've seen from BBL, we were talking about, I think we're talking a lot about Fracture, but it's something that I like because every single team is bringing a different approach.
Yeah, and when it comes to Fracture, I always have high expectations when it comes to the overall macro from the teams. And so far, I was only like super impressed by the actual first impression of Fnatic on this map. And then after that, it was like always going downhill. But hopefully now, because Mech had so much time to prepare this map, they're gonna have different approach. Of course, I hope so, but BBL was playing on this map already. Neon, Sage, Chamber, Breach, and Brim is the lineup that they played before. It seems like there will be no changes from Mech.
No changes at all. I mean, it's what I was saying, like the composition, it looks solid. I mean, you have the bridge, you don't really feel extremely 100% comfortable on that chamber, maybe Defo, but you want to have the race. I still think that it is completely viable, maybe not too innovative, but I think that Mech has to play it safe. Remember that both these teams are 1-1.
Yeah, and it's also very interesting to see that both teams are playing Sage, which is the more reactive character, or like proactive at the beginning of the round of the wall, but after that, it's very reactive.
All right, a lot of questions that we look to answer. Map 1, Mech now going up against their opponents at BBL. It's time to get ready for Fracture, and we got X-Warrior and Jess to take you through it. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Milos, for the toss. But yeah, you heard it. It's myself, X-Warrior, joined by Jess today. And it's for the first time. Love to be here. Love to be with you. It's going to be a fun day.
I mean, look, I can look into your gorgeous eyes all day there, X. But instead of doing that, I want to jump straight into map number 1 of Fracture.
The time has come to start off this day, and it's Mech versus BBL to start things off over on Fracture. This is going to be an awesome one.
Yeah, look, not only do I love watching Fracture, X, I love the fact that we have both Mech and BBL sitting really tight, sort of hugging each other there on the group standings. And the great thing about that is, whoever wins, well, they'll essentially solidify themselves one step closer to that playoff spot. And the other team, yeah, I don't know how they're going to dig themselves out of that one.
Yeah, they've had a very close journey so far, haven't they? And their journeys have been very similar also in that way. Playing up against Na'Vi, same exact result, a beat on a 2-1. So, yeah, having to play out against each other so early is really, really cool to see. But as you've seen, BBL taking on the attack, Mech on the defense, and we see a very lenient approach, a slow approach, the BBL heading towards this B side.
You heard Kukuka sort of reference the fact that Mech have to play safe, not just inside the server, but beyond here. Map picks, compositional picks. I mean, don't change anything. Don't go crazy. Need those points on the board. And that's probably what we'll see here from Mech, is just cool, calm, and collected throughout this. And I'm going to start on the defense here, so it's their waiting game for now.
Trademark has just spotted the push coming out from that A site as well. Two players kind of bouncing back, heading towards that A site. Redgar, Defo say, no, okay, we've shown our ground. BBL are now going to be wary of that, and are going to be scared for a backstab. Now they've just shown their ground. Coming, popping their heads out of tunnel, but still the decision has to be made. The fact that they've got so many players on this left side of the map just indicates this is about to begin.
You can see that they're questioning it. Do we go over towards Dish? Do we go and get that? And there we go. It's a burst on the side.
Quickly stunned up there. Kushina couldn't do anything about it and shut down without able to see a single opponent. Sky Smoke's place. Site taken over, but tower control is nowhere close to be controlled. Chronicle is hiding in within his own Sky Smoke, and AMDLL is very much wary of it. Defensive positions now for BBL as Aslan is able to find the first kill of his team. Aslan still trying to hold off the rotations. Redgar, Shadows, both chiming in. They're getting the better of the Turks right now, and they're not liking it. AMDLL looking to hold on. That's the beautiful headshot, but he won't be able to survive for long. Pora is all that is left and is far away from the objective. Spike will be defused, and Mech get first blood.
No picking and prodding for the Turks there. They decided, you know what, we'll commit, and we'll commit fast and hard, and why not?
Commit.
Yeah, commit to it. Why not? I don't mind it on a map like Fracture. That's one bit of criticism we've sort of levied at teams throughout the stage and beyond when you're playing Fracture, is that if you commit to it, you kind of get the best on the timing, the rotational quickness of your opponents, especially with, M3 not having the Neon to play with there, is going to be a tad slower, just given the grandioseness of the map. But didn't really hesitate for Mech there whatsoever. And I saw them over towards Dish. They were teetering on the thought of a bit of a flank there. But it's just pistol. Get it in your hands, see whether or not you get these upgrades. And round 2, this is where we can see if they'll be able to get that force.
Just how big of a fan of you of these second round buys? I, for one, I'm not too much like you.
It's such a big risk. You think about the economy into the rounds, you know, going forward. I mean, you have to win it. You have to convert something or do a heck of amount of damage that you feel that you've been able to convert something there. Look at the weaponry across there. Few Spectres, whatnot. I think that investing those is not too shabby, and, well, one falls.
Yeah, so far not so great for BBL. This investment might come back to bite them. Recovery could be slow, therefore crucial they're able to find some damage. At least Shados does not care. Walks past his own little war, and Aslan will be the only player to be finding a kill here for BBL. Sight control is permitted. Mech allowing them to cross in, so they're able to approach from behind and take them both down. Mech 2-0, and BBL's force goes to waste.
Yeah, how much do you fancy a force now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't change my opinion about them.
Yeah, it probably worsens it. Not very good there for the squad of BBL. Of course, they're only Turkish squad in the entirety of EMEA VCT left. A lot of Turkish players sporadically spread around tiers, but this is the Turkish force. This is the powerhouse that's left over. And we heard Enzo reference the fact that he thinks they're a good team.
Yeah, they are. There are many good players in this region as well. It's kind of sad. I mean, Supermassive Blaze no longer there. Surreal made it really close to making it, but at the end of the day, it was the German team big to take them down, and obviously Focus was able to get there from the Valorant regional leagues all across the board. So yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate for the Turkish scene with so much talent that they have. But for now, BBL are the solo representatives and may be able to do something off with these pistols. Pure damage is really what they're looking for, but if Mech give it to them, they would be very happy about it. Quick Power looking to bring them back. Last fight. That would be a creative way to find kills, but Defo's able to clean up the pieces. A couple of kills quite there. Kushner running out of bullets, has to draw out the Ghost. Ooh, gets it done, and Mech get 3-0.
Hey, that's a heck of a lot of damage. And I tell you what, the fact that they were able to come in, use their utility, at least to as much cost effectiveness as they could. You saw that fault line rain across. That was something that they were looking to try and grab that opening. And when they did, I like the fact that there are teams that are running this chamber on Fracture specifically, something that I would have liked to have seen Defo run. We saw him run it the other day, first time he's ever run a Sentinel. And he played that excellently, considering the fact that he's used to being that sort of duelist, that space maker. I liked him on. I would have loved to have seen him run it here, X, but not to be, and that's something that BBL gets the head of as a result.
And now is kind of the time for BBL to start bouncing back. If they do not, they may be in trouble, considering this is also their own map pick. Trailing too far behind at a start. Come back to bite them for sure. A site now to be approached. Couple of tripwires waiting for that entry. Considering it's a neon startup here for BBL, it hasn't been very explosive. As I do say that, the cross comes through. Kushner ends up falling, so BBL's attempt to gain anything out of this has just been quashed. Nats on the site fairly low. The pot shots are being thrown up against the wall, but still looking to trade equally. Not going to work out if you're out of this advantage. Mech getting most of the kills. BBL are just stuck on the outside, looking in, unable to do a thing. Turco, maybe the final attempt to get themselves back into it, trying to isolate one of these corners, but they're just walking into the arms of Nats, and he's just hugging them. Suffocate them, a very tight hug. Aslan, nothing he can do, taking down Mech, an explosive 4-0 start.
Right there.
If you want to come raining in onto site, you better hope that you are so suffocating with your utility, you're so suffocating with your pack mentality, that whatever the reverse and the sort of converse utility that's flying back at you is sort of negated. That's something that we're not seeing from BBL here. They go, we're A main, we want to push onto A, we're not going to poke and probe, we're going to commit to this. Every time they're doing this, they're not baiting anything out. And X, if they're just going to keep eating fault line, paint shells, mollies, this is what's going to happen round after round. They've got to learn their lesson.
We haven't really seen too much explosiveness from them either. It hasn't very much been like a decisive take. I mean, kind of very slow on their approaches and always telegraph for Mech. Perfect rotations. And even for the entries, they haven't really been able to give him too much of a good job. Aslan here, good little spray down, but it seems there is some return coming the way of BBL.
Hello?
But at the end of the day, there's nothing much you can do here. I mean, they're just walking into the Lion's Den and they're getting their heads ripped apart. MDLL able to find just some damage, but his life won't be very long-lived here.
Cutie wanted a weapon so bad, he was willing to sprint as fast as he could straight towards it. And MDL, I mean, God, he's got good shots, especially when you give him a pistol in the hand. 1v2 opportunity. Hello, X? He's got a weapon now.
No way.
Oh, he knows.
This was an eco. No way they win round like this. MDLL, what a way to get your team on the board. It was a sheriff buy to make it happen.
Ooh, I don't think Mech expected that one. I'm sure the entirety of BBL are having a little bit of uplift in the mentality right now after that clutch. We know he's good. He's got good aim. I mean, the man lives up to his name through and through, but I don't think this was sort of, especially after Cutie went down, come dashing in to try and get that weapon. Beautiful crossfire from Mech over towards Dish. That's their bread and butter. Every time you push Dish, you know you're going to get a very well scripted dual push out of that sort of defensive aggression from Mech. You know it. You know they're not going to change that up. But the fact that they're able to deal with it, well, shows a little bit of flavor here for BBL, and they say, yep, that's enough. We're hyped up now. Let's take a timeout. Let's cool ourselves a little bit and see what the coach has got to say.
Yeah, I love the wording there. It puts a little flavor. It's spicy, if you will. And yeah, no, I'm actually still very confused about how they were able to do that. I mean, there was smokes everywhere. MDLL was just hiding in and out. A head suddenly peeps, and then, ooh, that's a headshot. And then all of a sudden he's up against one, finds a phantom. It's a free gift and gets it done. Crazy.
A little overzealous there from the remaining players of Mech, I felt. Maybe he could have backed up and gone, you know what? Opportunity for us to see which side he decides to make his way onto. Play out time a little bit.
Here.
That's what happens when you get a little bit too excited around. You think, oh, it's a 3v1, let's go. Oh, it's a 2v1, let's go. Oh, now it's a 1v1.
Yes.
It's discipline. It's something that Mech should know.
Yeah, he's only got a sheriff. Go for it. Oh, no, never mind. How sustainable is this, though? I mean, clutching potential. I don't think Mech will make the same mistake too many times, but now with weapons, we may be looking at a different story. So far, unsuccessful for VBL.
Quite a lot of ultimates online as well. Look to the left, look to the right, and you just see all those orbs just being absolutely farmed left, right, and center. For Defo, he could even grab that one if he wanted to, I think. And try not to bait out too much as well. He could have his ultimate online. Pora's going to be careful here. He's a solo man on a solo mission.
Yeah, now joining in with the rest of the team coming under tower. Camera taken down onto the B site. Aslan, wary of a push. Is he wary of a second player, though? Good start for the round. The best BBL has probably had so far, but quickly equalized by Defo. That's a very aggressive showstopper, and unfortunately for them, it'd be very much wasted, only allowing the aggressive Pete to come through for information. But BBL yet to gain important ground on either side, but they do have that A site directly open for them to take if they want it.
God, they just sold B so hard. Mech, they almost bought into it there, X, but now they come raining onto A.
Just a simple spike plant. Rolling Thunder, though, just indicates that Mech may want to go for it directly after that. Rolling Thunder together with the orbital strike, but it catches absolutely no one. Kushina onto the site, looking to delay the spike plant, but still, it may be able to go just in the nick of time. Incinerate looking to damage up Kushina even further. Down to a 3-on-3. Nat will be able to win out his own trade, but it's still a trade. Nat's closing in. MDLL on top. I don't think they have a clue. Sky Smoke concealing his position. Kushin on the other side. It's a beautiful crossfire, but MDLL is out of the fight. Now they've isolated them. They're getting them one by one, so Mech able to recover and take the retake.
You see those orbital strikes? Just a little bit of a crossover there on A. That's a nice little one. You see, sometimes you see a showstopper against a showstopper, but I love a bit of an orbital strike against an orbital strike. See what kind of damage you can do. And the lovely thing is the orbital strike onto the exact center of the A site. It pushed out the player, but what did it push them into? Paint shells. I mean, those kind of layering of knowing where to use all of your utility, especially when you're trying to get that deny on. Perfectly well-rounded, well-scripted there. And Defo, who I've been one of his biggest critics a lot of the time, especially when he plays Jet, definitely stepping up to the charge here on the defensive side.
Yeah, Mech really look unstoppable so far. Retakes on point, set pieces galore. BBL unable to find the answers. But now maybe look to unravel something out of this. Obviously, I mean, we're looking at a pistol round, but this is a pistol round where they've been able to get something done before, so you can't not entertain the idea of Kushner achieving something with his ultimate. Looking to push by. Chronicle just presses Z in mouse 1 and gets it done. Looks to gain more, but in the midst of the Sky Smoke, unable to find movement. Turco, Resurrection, bringing in the 5th player. MDLL unable to hold the rotations, but the site is theirs. Spike is going down, and we're looking at a 4v4. And that's close to contesting, damage upon, but it looks like EMEA aren't slowing down at all. They're looking to double blast pack in, and there's 3 players hiding out in tower. You might not have the weapons, but you might have the strength in numbers. Kushner, Turco getting it done. No way they get another pistol win. Closing in on them. Shadows wants a piece of this pie, but he's scared for his life. On the sideline, Nats gets it done, but Shadows is the next play in contention. Fault line stunned. They need to start pressing that spike or else BBL are not going to peek this. Now they will. Getting the information, knowing they're not committing to it. Turnaround comes through. Turco is able to get himself on top. Shadows interrupted, but still gets the kill, but it's not good enough to get the defuse, which means BBL get another pistol win.
Well, Shadows gets out of dodge, but that I can't believe that we're watching a BBL who we know structurally is a good team. I mean, they can hold it with the greatest if they want to in these rounds, but with a Thrifty? I'm not sure. Sometimes you have to be honest with yourself. Sometimes, especially as an analyst, you have to be honest at the echelon of which these teams are really sat. I think the Turkish region possesses phenomenal players. Do I think BBL is what I would consider to be like mech level at the moment when we think about EMEA teams? Not yet. But if they keep taking advantage of them like that, well, yeah, maybe I might start to change my mind just a little bit.
It's crazy how much they find more success over the Thrifties than actually regular buy rounds. Maybe it's like the mentality of you have nothing to lose. Maybe they're playing a little bit scared with these weapons.
You're right. You are right. OG London United, another team in this league who also does exactly that same thing.
The cross towards the A site is fairly obvious here, and you can see the wraparound coming out from Mech, from B main as well, but a fairly meticulous one.
Here we go. They're baiting out the utility. This is what I asked for.
Now they're pushing through, though. Aftershock onto the upper side, looking to delay. They already find themselves onto the side. They're able to punish, though. BBL getting the better of them. Power reigns supreme above, and now they find full control, and there's only 2 for Mech to do anything about this.
Spike planted.
Look what happens if you just wait it out a little bit, X. Wait out the pain shells, wait out the mollies, wait out everything else, and once Mech have nothing else left to batter you with, go on in and take advantage of them. That is a pretty round to look at.
It really is. It really is. And just Defo and Shados now just have to chill a bit. Kind of look at the fractured map, split into. I'm still waiting for the lore to come. I know we've all been waiting for a long time for another video to come by to see what on earth is this, you know, fracture, the split of realities. I want to know more. But it seems Para, at least this round, won't be able to live to see another day. Defo just holding down the line, unable to save that weapon. Shados still looking to punish the saves. Able to get one, but that's all he will be able to achieve. BBL on 3.
It looked like all might be lost for BBL in this half, especially when they were only able to muster together Thrifty. I say only. That is a huge achievement. When you are down on weaponry like that, you should not be able to achieve a lot of damage on your opponents, let alone being able to win the round. So I should backtrack on that just a little bit and say very impressive on those rounds. But converting full buys, showing us where your strat book lies and how that is able to work against some of the biggest, baddest teams in EMEA is where it is. And that A hit was it. They're to keep that mentality up if they want to snag themselves back to a 5-5 here.
Mech this time around are the ones with a lesser buy. Something we haven't seen so far. And BBL, I'm sure, will be very happy about it. Now, quick land grab towards the upper side of the map. Now, kind of eliminating some of the positions that they could really be in. And now they realize, okay, it's going to be an A hit. And that's unable to hold his ground. It's fairly simple. They do slowly grab the space without being challenged, respecting the sky smokes. Mech not really falling for any movement. But all they're looking for here is to put damage into the rosters of BBL. Trying to find some of these kills. Defo, with the only Spectre of the squad, only gets one before gets shut down. Bullet to the back of the head. Quite a gruesome death, but at least it's an instant one. Shados Chronicle have to hold back here. This round is definitely going to BBL. They're just playing with time here.
Player standing.
was hoping they could do a little bit more damage here if they wanted to seem a bit more menacing. If they wanted to maybe give BBL a taste of their own thrifty medicine, it would have had to have looked way better than this. Bit of a shoulder peek there. Yeah, we're confirming he's over towards Dish, guys. We'll see if he tries to peek us. We'll see if we can take him out. But with the time now firmly in their hands, Spike ringing away in our ears, it's a very clear indication that for Chronicle, he can fall to the Spike, get that money. But the biggest thing for me now that I want to point out from that round there, X, is instead of doing an A main hit, which they've done, I'm going to count maybe 3 times now. Once successfully, very successfully, and other times not so successfully. They decided this time to hit Sand. The reason I like that is they respected that Mech could well beat them in a thrifty the same way they themselves have beaten Mech. And so they changed up the way in which they pushed the site. You cannot be readable, you cannot be countered if no one knows exactly what your next move is. BBL has depth, and I like that. We're seeing them fleshing it out here, and I wish we had seen that, 5 rounds ago.
Yeah, talk about unknowns. A lot of unknowns in this endeavor. First time these two teams play up against each other, even though they already played in the previous stage of VCT. 2 opposing groups, and not making it out, of course, for BBL was their downfall. But here, we've got a new round, one which probably holds most gravity. A round which could really distinguish BBL's capabilities of coming out on top so far on the attack side. And they know the pressure is starting to mount. Mech have to hold this back, but it all starts with a standard Rolling Thunder towards the B site. Clearing it out, Mech are happy to go for a retake here.
So much utility raining out, and it's only giving them a confirmation of what they already kind of know with that tower control. Ooh, does he know Defo's there? No, he doesn't.
Not quite. Oh, barely runs away. Defo is able to get the read on it. Nat's in the middle of an aftershock, still able to find the kill, and now they're on top of numbers. Spike doesn't even get the chance to go down yet. Mech, more.
You sound like Zesh there, mate.
Yeah, I sound like Zesh there, but there we go. Nats shut down. BBL maybe to find a piece back in. Showstopper gets it down, and AimDLL in a position where it's fathomable, perhaps doable. Has to find where the last 2 players are, because his position very much telegraphed, and Mech not falling for this trick, not walking out into the open, not allowing AimDLL to find any unnecessary damage. Spike not committed to. Closing up the gap isn't clever enough, maybe for the first, but Redguard is there to have his teammates back, and Mech are able to find their way back in.
I could see it. It was Groundhog Day for me, X. I could see it happening yet again. AimDLL, the kill feed, top right-hand side of the screen. I could see it. And that spray transfer was almost perfect there from him. It's a pity that with all that utility, they sunk towards that B side. This is the kind of thing we were referencing about baiting out utility, waiting it out, and then enacting. Is something that Mech was able to do there quite a little bit. And by the time they'd realized that they'd not been able to take advantage of everyone with the Rolling Thunder, and of course throwing up that fast lane there to be able to block lines of sight, it was a little bit too little too late. Now Mech gets an opportunity to talk about what they've seen thus far. Sometimes I always talk about teams taking timeouts, because I remember during my coaching days, in other tactical FPS games, it was almost frowned upon if you were to take a timeout before the next half, if you were really close to the next half, because you would lose out on an opportunity to talk in the next half about things that might be occurring there, and you're so close to finishing it, why would you? There's so many philosophies around when to time out, when not. But you never really know what's going on behind the screens there. They're in boot camp as well, so who knows? They might just circle around, huddle up.
Yes, this should do.
Let's see if this huddle up is what the team needs. Very important pacing for both of these teams, isn't it? And BBL, I think, more reliance on it. So not having their way, at least on the first map, really will be quite costly.
Important note to make about Nats's camera usage as well. A lot of people aren't big fans of Cypher, but sometimes you'll see him use his camera quite passively in quite high angles to get a really good line of sight on quite a lot of the site, over towards A, for example, and Dish. But sometimes, just sometimes, he'll pepper in aggressive cameras, and it takes BBL off guard.
Chronicle's got the right idea here.
Oh,
Two
he had
players
it.
now approaching. Oh, Sky Smokes fall just in time, and the cross will come forth. B site like before, left open. But plenty of players on the cross. Oh, lovely tripwire. And Turco is out. That's the Sage. Nats getting it done once again. Aslan, as he tries to find a better angle, gets pre-fired once again. Spike not even planted due to the orbital strike. And Nats still with a good position. ADSing with the Bulldog. Finally, Met gets something out of it. Well, BBL are able to find something out of it. But still, a long way to go. Para has to force himself out into the open, gets one. Can he find any more? Spray down is rough, so Chronicle picking up the pieces, but Kushina needs something extraordinary here, and he may be able to find one, but up against 3, it's a tough endeavor and won't be able to get it done. It's Mech to carry it forwards. 7th round now accumulated for them.
This is a much closer series than I expected, albeit, of course, BBL are in the attack there, so some people might discuss whether or not the efficacy on Fracture recently has been attacking sided, has it been defensive sided. We can run all the numbers we want, but it always sort of sinks down on a foundational level with me about the stylistic differences between the teams. Mech, they are happy to poke and prod, they're happy to run all of the defaults, and they aren't in a rush by any means. And I think for BBL, you'd think about the first, let's say, 4 rounds, or even if we just get rid of Pistol in second, they themselves knew what they wanted to achieve, but were just too fast to the trigger, and we know what they're capable of now that we've seen this second quarter of this map.
It's a very Na'Vi-esque type of style. I mean, if you exclude yesterday against Big, you know, I mean, Mech have been going with it for a while. But definitely feeling comfort within it up against BBL right now. Orbital Strike at least clearing out the site, but again, similarly as they were on the B site, they leave the A site clear. Free real estate for BBL, they'll take it, expending utility in the meantime to do so. Spike goes down. This will be a slaughter. Final round of the half. Ooh. Everybody alive with a Spike going down. MDLL with a good chance there, missing that opportunity. And Sindri looking to delay, looking to buy time. Aslan, good tour de force kill. Defo, where do those paint shells land? And now they've equalized things, but they need to move in quickly. They're starting that on time. MPLL switches up the position, still traded back. Good crossfire there with Turco, but still, Mech trailing behind. Desperately need a kill, desperately need a trade to go their way, and hasn't spotted out the upper side of Para. Ends up falling, it's down to Redgar, and I'm afraid it may be all too late. Sidestepping the Rolling Thunder, incapable of doing so. Is the overdrive to do it. Kushina stamping upon him, and Mech close out the half. Well, BBL close out the half, at least with a round win.
They've given themselves a good bit of leeway here that should they win the pistol in the second, things aren't all lost for the side of BBL. We do have to say again and hammer this down for the viewers out there, this is BBL's map pick here. Of course, next map will be Breeze, and yeah, that could be a very, very heavy slaughter there for the side of for BBL. So they've got to be careful. They really do have to try and snag this map number 1. They don't want to be trying to fight from behind on Breeze, which will be Mech's map pick, will be map number 2. But for now, this half isn't all over. Got to see how they run the pistol. A lot of people think pistols are a throwaway, but think about the economy. Think about round 1. Think about the second conversion. They themselves forced sport in the first half, and that went awry really quickly.
What I love about this meta is being able to run so many different compositions as well, right? You mentioned the different dynamics in the teams. The agent compositions now are also different. And we'll be seeing the attack positionings and macro plays differ substantially here. That's why I love the state of Valorant right now. So much is doable. Aslan, they're waiting. Quick little head, will get shut down. It's only a trade. Paint shells looking to move back here, but unable to retreat in time. Mech with an advantage. Kushina caught out into the open, and the A site is free. Sky Smokes will do the job to cover their tracks, but it's a site that they needed, and they got it.
1 paint shells there for Defo, and he didn't even need to get the kill. It was enough to suppress them, move them back off of ramp. But they were gifted with a kill as well, and it's those tiny little micro plays. I love speaking about utility, especially in Valorant, because they are the difference maker. And speaking of difference maker, Turco tried, AimDLL joins, and it's all up to AimDLL again. How many times have we seen this one, X?
No way, no way. I'm calling it. AimDLL, what can you do? Oh, 2 very elevated positions, both left and right of him. So difficult to try and figure out, but yeah. Not second time lucky here. Mech with a pistol.
Oh, I said BBL needed that one. What will they do here in the second? Money, not looking hot whatsoever, but that's what happens when you lose the pistol. You can see them buying up. Headhunter in the hand of Aslan. Doesn't look like they're going to do anything else with it, though. They know that that third round, that's going to be where they can really kick this back into their favor. Give Mech 9 if you have to, but don't give them 10. Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Was muted.
I thought you were just doing it for dramatic suspense, which...
Yeah, I mean, there's not much suspense in this round, is there? It's the pistol round for BBL. No, I coughed and I didn't press on mute.
Welcome
apologies.
back.
Oh, yeah, I'm back. I'm alive. But yeah, I was about to say BBL going on a field trip and kind of leaving Aslan behind. And yeah, well, that causes death.
Oh, we like this. Like a little bit of a rotation. Oh, no.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
God, do they
info.
know?
Oh, this could also be painful.
Oh, this is going to be the
Oh, this
greatest
is
or the
so
worst thing I've ever seen.
So sneaky.
Oh, please stop.
Oh,
Don't
no,
shoot.
Kushner! No, he gives it away! Able to find one. The rest of them will start to chime in, but Chronicle has got his attention turned towards it, and so have the rest. Even if they're concussed with the fault line, it will not be
No.
enough. Kushner's misclick there could have costed this round.
Discipline. I have to throw that word out there. Having discipline to know that you don't need to shoot in that instance. His back is to you. He is not prepared for you in any way, shape, or form. Wait until the pack meets up. Run in hand, and absolutely obliterate them while they're trying to work out what in the hell is going on. That is your best opportunity when you're able to get the slip on your opponents like that. A wasted opportunity, but this one might not. Look at the weaponry in their hands. Here we go, and Defo, he's going to have to springboard himself through that fault line.
I love how they coordinate the Sky Smoke as well, you know, there to keep him out into the open. Sort of a, it's like seeing a jet played out, but by the use of a Sky Smoke instead of a Cloudburst. This is beautiful. Shados, Wall Up coming out. I love this.
Okay.
Mech finding the better of a player, but can they get more out of this? Quickly traded Kushner in a tough spot, able to stun one, but there's more to follow. Has to find cover, doesn't care about cover. He wants to shoot some heads, overwhelmed by the angles though. Nats gets it done, so Mech with the advantage. More players, but who would have thought BBL had the better weapons? Losing this is not great for them. Managing to hide away from the Incendiary, Orbital Strike coming through, looking to get a kill before the fall comes in. Mech on the site, full control for them. Aim DLL, can you make the magic happen? One Sky Smoke available, blocks off drop. And now it's Nats and Shados, one on site, one with the main entry. Looking to find all corners. Looking to check them all, but realizes runs out of time, has to figure it out sooner than later. Nats finds the perfect opportunity to swing by him, and will be getting it. BBL just lost their buy round.
Oh, it's snowballing into a tragic scenario. Speaking of tragedy in that round, of course, Mech won the round, but Chronicle backed up into the molly. Watch this. And he keeps going. Again, he goes into the middle of... I'm not sure why. And also, shout out to production, who somehow read my mind and coordinated the fact I wanted to talk about that.
Great minds think alike.
Absolutely. But I definitely think that is such a lost opportunity for BBL. I think that was going to be the linchpin of this entire map here for them, and now they're down to pistols. They've done it however many times before, twice before, just this map. So there's so much opportunity for them, but I would hate for it to hinge on such a difficult round.
Yeah, BBL must be hitting themselves. I mean, so many missteps, so many mistakes, but now can't really focus on that right now. Need to focus at the task at hand, and the one that they do have is a tough one. How can they fend away from it? It seems like they've got the right lineup here, got the right stack up, have got enough players in this direction, but Defo and Chronicle get it done. Aim DLL, nothing you can do with Shados slowly moving upwards in that Y-axis scale. And Para and Turco from the outside again. It's a fishbowl. And the fishies can actually shoot back. They're piranhas with weapons. And 11 and 5 for Mech. They're starting to get away with this.
It's such a hard thing for me to discuss as well, because you saw Defo blast pack himself up in a tower. There we go. Production again, thank you. And you're speaking about them being piranhas here. I mean, he ate half of those paint shells as well. So not only are they BBL's worst enemy, but they are also their own worst enemy as well here, X. So it's an interesting, combination of tactics that, Mech's throwing on the board. I think they've identified now, especially that they're on their attack, they're setting the pace. Stylistically, for BBL, not only has money been a bit of an issue in that last round, of course, but the flow of the rounds for them is, I think, awkward. You think about that Sage wall over towards Sand that Mech threw up there. No one was expecting it. No one looked. No one identified the fact that it could have been a counter wall coming up. And I think that not being aware of what Mech could throw at them, even though we say that they work in sort of known quantities, Mech is a more known quantity and they should play safe, that wall isn't by any means revolutionary. It's not that innovative. So they should have been prepared for those little tidbits to come out.
Yeah, what's interesting about this is that Mech also haven't been playing this map too long, right? I mean, for this year in particular, they've only played it twice. And the last time they played it was up against Fnatic 2 months ago. So still, I mean, the meta has shifted so much since then, not much you can prepare for. So BBL actually going for this map pick, bargained upon their core gameplay, their understanding of how this map should be played is superior to how Mech could be bringing it out. Quite a gamble for them to go for this pickup.
Absolutely. Early defensive aggression there from BBL. They need something. And with Mech dictating the pace in this second half here, they need to rip it straight back out of their hands and into their own. How they do it, I'm not sure. That early defensive aggression looked like they might have been able to snag something, and this is weapons against weapons here. This is our best opportunity to identify if BBL have it in them on their defensive half. But one away from a showstopper here. To be fair, he's been a little bit more potent with his paint shells, so if he's got both in hand, I can see it being a good day.
It's safe to say, even if this isn't map point right now, BBL lose this round, they lose the map. A very, very important one for them. And Mech are playing with their feelings, keeping them in the dark. Start from that info. Aim DLL in the sky smoke, though. A very aggressive maneuver. Still gets it done. That's what you need, but quickly traded. He would have loved to get in the second one there. Flash onto the site. 2 players holding it. It's a crossfire. There's nothing that can be done about it. Aslan joins the fray. Defo quickly shut down. It's a slaughterhouse. And BBL finally get it done. Get around on the defense.
Just crisp fundamentals there, X. Crisp crossfires. A clear understanding of that. Once we've got these two, where are the other two likely to come from? It's either tower, which we haven't heard them take control of, or it's arcade. Turn around, another crossfire, a decimation in triangulation. If you're a geometry or mathematics fan out there, go back on that round because you'll love what you have seen.
Yeah. Are you a mathematics fan or a statistician of?
No, the only.
No?
I mean, look, outside of what I had to do in my degrees and as an analyst, throwing the numbers together. I love percentages. Love a good few stats. Geometry, not so much. Not so much.
Fair. All right. Understandable.
Good circle. Good triangle. I understand it.
I can draw a circle. Not a perfect one, though. Chronicle. All right. Getting things started. Aslan, that's what you love about a chamber. No risk, high reward. Gets out of the resurrection, though. Brings everyone back online here for Mech. But look at the BBL swing from the back line. They're looking to collapse on them quickly, but I'm afraid not quick enough. B site already taking over. Tower control fully theirs. B main control absolutely all underlocking. The orbital strike also fairly late. 2 players getting out of it. No problem whatsoever, but there's only a few coming in from CT, and that is Aslan getting it done. A triple for him. And it's only 2 kills that are actually relevant in this attack. Retake is on, and BBL are feeling themselves right now. Can they do it? The timing for Defo! Turco has got his teammates back. That's what you love to see. Great coordination from the BBL side. Can they carry it on? Shados revealing the position. Again, double-sided peek in Chronicle. Well, that remains, and I'm afraid too far out of his depth. Gets one, has an orbital strike, though.
Oh.
BBL know it, though.
Well, they've got to chase him. They've got to go.
They touch it, orbital strike comes in, Pyro wants to defuse it halfway, but isn't able to do it! The lowest health player ends up falling. Chronicle has got a massive chance here. Aslan gets it done, but is there enough to get the defuse? I'm not quite sure!
One enemy.
Oh my god!
Points, 0.08 seconds. And Mech get it
Match
done.
point.
It was all calculated, X. Don't you dare. He knew. He knew he had 0.08 on that orbital.
That
Wow.
is crazy. That is just crazy
Do you
to me.
think this is going to be a very controversial statement? Do you think that if Sage had her knife out, she makes it?
Ooh.
Ooh.
All right, I know there's a lot of people that are actually going to try that out now.
Yep.
I mean, at least there's someone out there. Tag us. We want to see it. Hashtag VCT EMEA. Hopefully that is also figured out. Maybe we can show that on later. But man, this was nail-bitingly close. Now under pressure, BBL know they cannot falter, no more mistakes, and have to go undefeated for 6 rounds. Very determined. First few kills going their way. Mech, though, not going to make this easy. Finding their way to the B site and have found the cross forwards as well. Spike will be going down, but there's plenty of utility for BBL to fight this with.
Love that Cage as well. Blocks him as he gets the plant down. Aslan has been on a heater. He could be the difference maker.
Oh, I was so positive Redgar was spotted there, but somehow still alive. Looking for the head here. Redgar, he's so quick. Rolling Thunder coming through. Aftershock, is it a delay enough? Little shots coming through. Delayed. Nats. Can another clutch make it happen? Sagewall breaks, showing his position. Not a lineup this time around. 2 different positions. Turco finds the head, and BBL are alive for a little bit longer.
Woo! X. I got those goosebumps. Oh, that's what we love to see. I mean, that last round, it really paints a picture of what kind of gameplay we're looking at here. We're talking about microseconds, things that we can't even give tangible notations to. And I tell you what, for Mech right now, them winning, they will probably win this map, and it will look, at least on the card, as a comfortable win for them. But a lot of these rounds have had to fight tooth and nail. It's come down to the wire. And I hope that everyone who's watched this map will remember that and at least know that BBL's given it their all.
So darn close, isn't it? So freaking close. So many of these rounds down to milliseconds. Is this a Formula 1 race?
Down A.
All right, let's see. At least the entry has been found here from BBL, deterring this attack. Great rotations coming through. Just placing the hopes of the B site only onto Turco, but that doesn't matter.
Oh, hello?
DLL, a 90-degree turn, finds ahead. These guys can shoot. These guys can shoot, and Mech now left on the backside of things. Spike in no man's land, and BBL know it. Incendiary between them, Sky Smoke as well. The decision is theirs to make. Does this look like a save, or do they try?
No, save. You've got to. Look at the round. You have so much of a buffer to work with. I have seen teams throw it by throwing weapons and assuming that they can push it.
Oh, it hurts that you're saving a Bulldog and a Guardian, though.
Look at their credits.
30 seconds left.
Oh, it's sad.
Maybe get some exits. Maybe snag yourself a rifle on the way out.
BBL definitely giving them a run for their money right now. Definitely isn't a comfortable victory, although they've been on map point for a couple of rounds. They are on edge.
10 seconds left.
And you can see ever since they have been on map point, BBL have amped up the pressure.
BBL know what's at stake here. This is their map pick here, X. Can't let this one go. I can see it. I can see a comeback on their horizon. If they keep up dictating the pace, I said they've got to rip it out of the hands of Mech, and they've done so. But now they've got to keep it in their hands. And I tell you what, Aslan came online, in the second half, and he was hitting shots like you want a Turkish team to hit shots like that. That's why, we famously say that if you want a gunner, if you want someone who's seriously good, not even just with the op, but with weaponry as whole, the mechanics in Turkey are second to none. Some of the biggest and brightest gunners in the entire region do come from Turkey. Think CNED, think Alfahir. Oh my goodness. BBL want to join them. They want to join them right up on that podium. And Mech say, all right, slow down, boys. We also can see this on the horizon.
That's why I feel if you put all the tier 2 scenes together,
Yep.
right, Turkey would come out on top.
Yes,
They'd outgun everyone.
I would agree with that. I think a lot of people used to say that about CIS, obviously. But I think as we're starting to see, you know, the imports and exports of players, even from sub-regions across EMEA, we're starting to idealize what could be beyond the borders of Turkey.
Shooting accurately when it's most at stake. Now, the timeout from Mech, we're talking about when's the right time to time out. Well, this is it for Mech. They've lost a couple in a row. They look a little bit uncomfortable when it comes to these trades. BBL getting the better of them, catching them off guard with the various little peaks. So, yeah, this is a buffer for sure for Mech. See if they can find any damage here. But damage doesn't matter at this point. I think they're setting their sights to that next round especially. But if they can get it done here, wouldn't be too bad of a deed.
We'll definitely confirm that Mech are back. A lot of people making those statements. And speaking of, we've seen this one before. Oh.
Ooh. Yeah, we've also seen MDLL shoot people down before. Gets through. Very accurate stuff from him. Q-Chanel on site. No problem whatsoever. This is easy, they say. Oh, red guy's going in for it though. MDLL on the sideline will make it a little bit more tricky, Nats. Oh, they're finding damage. And there's a lot of Vandals spread out left and right, so Nats could even go for a juicier weapon. But crucially enough, spike by the feet of AIM-DLL.
Oh, Nats. Oh, he slipped by.
He has slipped by. It's all down to timing!
Oh, hello? Pick it up.
That's a spike, that's a Vandal, and that's 40 seconds to work with. He knows the approximate direction of his opposition. Fault line to delay, and Poro seizes the opportunity to reposition. Doesn't catch Nats off guard. Mech make it happen. 1-0 on the board, taking down BBL's map pick.
You said if they could get it done here, it would be nice and pretty. Well, I tell you what, this is a very good springboard for them to be able to capitalize. And I am absolutely excited for map number 2 because I was on the desk the other week and we were talking about the fact we hadn't seen Breeze and no one wants to play it. And I'm going to put on my sunglasses. I'm going to say, yep, it's time to go down to the beach of Breeze and get our way on there. I'm excited for this one.
I'm so excited about it as well. This match is looking up, very competitive, but we'll see you right after the break. The desk will take care of you then.
Dare to challenge yourself. Who's next?
Red Bull gives you wings.
Dare to challenge yourself. Who's next?
Welcome back, friends, to the analyst desk. Map 1 is done. That was Fracture that we got to see, and Mech are victorious. They take the first one to lead us into the rest. So how about we talk about it, break it down for you here. Kukuka, please, what happened here? Mech looked pretty good.
Yeah, exactly, and coming in extremely strong. We sometimes talk about how important pistol rounds are on both the halves, and the fact that you take both is going to, you know, make it easier for you to win the whole map. But when you add 2 other rounds on top of that, it's a start in every single half with a 4-0 difference. And you know, at the beginning I was like, okay, Mech started on the defense, this is going to be swiftly. I like the fact that BBL started to change the tempo a little bit because I love what Shadows was doing with the walls and just concentrating the forces on some other part of the map. So I am aware that the Mech was ready to come in for Fracture today.
Okay, so you focus on Mech, I'm gonna focus now on BBL because I don't know. I love to be, you know, disappointed the other way around, but unfortunately BBL is like one of those teams that one round showcases very good fundamentals, like really crispy double trades with really good pacing and understanding how to hold angles when your teammate is gonna use utility, so you're gonna secure his position. And then the next round, they literally do the opposite and completely disjointed, and there's no consistency in that team, which is, I feel like they still look better than they look in the past, but this game is like just showcasing how much of discipline is needed in this game to be successful. And just to point out the last thing, in 5v4s, they lost 4 rounds out of 7. So they only won 3 rounds when they had a 5-man advantage. Like, it's crazy.
Exactly. It's the thing to highlight, definitely, that the fact that they were able to start with that first kill in so many occasions, but Mech is going to strike back because they have the position, and it's the discipline that you need when you're in that moment. Okay, what do we do after we get that first kill? What is going to be our next response? So for Mech, after they won 1 man down, they knew exactly that they followed the protocol, that it was still the same. They know the angles that they need to cover. For BBL, it wasn't there.
Once Mech got on the attack, the story kind of went even more to their side. And one player that facilitated that was Nats, and he's our player highlight for this. Why is that the case, Kakuka?
I mean, it's not only that we love Nats, just to start with that, I think that he was doing a great job shutting down Kushner on the other side. So, of course, we need to give props to that, because when you're playing on the Sentinel, I think that he had amazing traps, covered the angles perfectly. That is exactly what you want from a Sentinel, and he's never scared. Oh, yeah, and he closed up the map after Redguard goes in with the Guardian, takes 2 kills, and he has the perfect movement, the perfect understanding. Once I saw those 2 cages coming out, I was like, yeah, this is Nats territory.
Yeah, you know what? He actually had 7 duels with Executioner. He won 6.
Yep.
Like,
Pretty good.
That's crazy when you think about it, because he's playing a Cypher, a character who actually just doesn't have an ultimate as well.
Yeah,
so
but if you have a Neon running around and she goes into a trip war, what happens?
yeah, well, it's very similar now with Jets, right? Because if you guys are old enough, you guys remember that sometimes there were times where Jet was just breaking the traps and was not bouncing around. But yeah.
Well, you know what's also crazy? The amount of times that you're going to be called to the emergency room today. Lothar, onto the lab.
Illustrator. Okay, so this is the round that everyone thought that BBL has it, even BBL, because it didn't run away from the spike. But that's something very peculiar, because I was trying to show you guys how BBL had good fundamentals today, and then suddenly don't have the good fundamentals, right? This is a very good example. Look, Power is trying to enable other players now with the flash, and then we have Defo who just peeks through the smoke. But what's happening here? Turco is holding that smoke. Great fundamental play coming in from BBL to have your teammates back, right? And they know that they have the advantage in the player department. And the only thing that Chronicle has is his molly that he used to properly just basically deny the defuse for 8 seconds. And the mistake happens here. This is the fundamental difference right now between the teams. We have seen Turco use his wall to make sure that the defuse can happen through the tower. But the thing is, Pora has only 30 HP on his back, so he's not able to hold the spike to get a half, and that is essentially the reason why they're losing this round. If it would be Turco who would be defusing this spike and he would have sacrificed himself, they would have enough time to actually win this round. But the miscommunication or lack of preparation in situations like this is something that, well, essentially loses them the round. And look at Aslan as well here. Like he doesn't. He's just waiting. He's just waiting. It's heartbreaking because it's literally showcases that they think that they won it, that don't realize that they're actually losing this round. And yeah, that's, I don't know, the fundamental level of play on BBL is sometimes super high and sometimes super low.
8 milliseconds.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. Also, the fundamentals on the side of Chronicle, the moment that he hears the wall behind him, he keeps moving forward, because the fact that he hears the wall behind him doesn't mean that there's no one that has pushed through the wall and is trying to hunt him down. So it's the problem with Meg is that they're a one-man army. It doesn't matter how they are. And also, we saw the Sage wall. I think it was pivotal how Shadows was using it also to enter the sites.
Well, that was map number 1. And Mech, take it, but it could have gone to BBL. But those few issues that you guys were talking about. Breeze is up next. We talked about it. We didn't get to see Breeze at all. Now come to week 3, we get it twice in this weekend. Kakuka, What's going on?
So the thing is that this is Mech's paradise. Okay, we talk about the beach, and literally they're most likely going to be on vacation. But for the side of BBL, it's not that they've barely played it this year. We were talking on week 1 how there were 2 maps that BBL wanted to stay away from. One was Fracture, the other one was Breeze. I'm going to assume, because I haven't checked it, that Mech is going to start on the attack. I want to see some progress onto that, because you were not here on the last stage, Milos, but let me tell you, okay?
Go ahead.
They were feeling completely comfortable going 3-9 or 10-2, because they knew exactly that they were going to win it on the defense. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's Mech and Navi are both the same. They're just defenders-based teams, right? That's the MO. Exactly, on attack, they just waited. That's something that Mech did fix in the past. But now when it comes to Breeze, both of those teams, BBL and Mech, didn't play Breeze yet on this patch. And what is very important is that when Mech was playing Breeze before, they had a huge focus on 2 agents, on Chamber and on Jet. Because of that, the defensive side was so efficient because they were able to shut down 2 entrances with the traps, typically the halls and then top of side of mid. And we still had the Jet, who was capable of playing the Sentinel's turret, I would like to describe, on defense, because she had the dash the entire round. This is going to be different now.
Yeah, you know what I would love to see? We saw it on Icebox. You did a telestrator on that. Maybe Chronicle going on to Brimstone. And please give me Defo on Chamber again. Also for BBL, it's not only that they didn't play this map. When they play it, I think that Turco wasn't even on the lineup. It was Mook. So it's a lot of changes that we're expecting. And I like the fact that Mech is going to a more familiarized ground in this stage, because we saw them on Bind, we saw them on Haven. I think they needed some breeze.
Age Select is in. Lothar, please, guide us through it.
Well, we're going to see what is going to be locked in. The last time that we have seen BBL play this map, it was a Cypher, Jet, Sky, Silver, Viper. But this time already changes. Executioner on the Chamber. So it's going to be different. Oh,
Leon, let's go.
Okay, Power on KO. KO is definitely one of the best choices for this map, which is something that Mech doesn't do. And they go for the Sky instead. Less denial, more enables coming from the Mech here in the lineup. And they still play the Jet and still play the Chamber. Of course, I mean, still. Chamber is probably like still one of the highest
Yeah, but
picks,
we expected the changes a little bit. I love the fact that BBL keeps bringing new compositions every single time that they jump into a different map. What we were mentioning in the pre-show, our thoughts when Aslan is the one picking out of the Chamber. I think it looks better, but when Kushner is on it, his results are not the best. But now it's going to be Aslan being that tip of the spear.
Yeah, and Executioner, I have my own, like, let's say, fears when it comes to efficient usage of utility from that Chamber. But very important is that with that Neon, they now have the way on attack side to have still like a committed Viper wall and go to the other side with the Neon wall.
Well, so much to break down and so much to actually see in game. Thanks so much, Lothar and Kukuka. Will we see a map 3 or will it end here with Mech taking it 2-0? Let's toss it to our casters, X-Warrior and Jess. Enjoy.
It's time for action. It's time for fun. Myself, Palos, and Jess by my side. It's Breeze. We've waited for this for a while, haven't we? We've waited for this one. So coming into this one, I mean, we've heard the analyst desk take us over what they think about it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts as well coming into this one.
I mean, it's so hard to quantify when you have Mech, and when we say it's their paradiso and all of those words you want to throw around, I don't care what you call it, they've lost it twice. Not this year, but ever in their entire career on Mech, in this entire roster, they've lost this map twice. And that was very early on in their career. This has been a really good map for them, and I expect that if BBL want to win, they're going to have to pull out something so unprecedented that you and I will be gobsmacked.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, really. I mean, looking at the comps as well, it's exciting moving into this. BBL on the back foot, losing their own map pick. They can't feel comfortable where they are right now. And taking on Mech on Breeze, they can't feel any more comfortable now. It's got to be rough.
And it's interesting as well because I actually think Aslan is a great Chamber. Not to pull away from Kushner at all, but I also think he's a great Neon. So this sort of handshake move here is an interesting one.
Let's see how this one works out. Starting things off, of course, with a pistol. BBL on the attack, looking to move in. Seems like Mech have telegraphed some sort of this movement. You can already see Redgar making his way through spawn. Rotations will be fairly quick, but so far no engagement respecting the Toxic Stream, kind of allowing them to cross over. Fragment to the side, but Nats is interested until that Toxic Stream does end up falling. Now, in the copy position, 3 players strong. Aslan will be the first to move out of there, waiting for the toxins to come back on. Now, on the site, they're looking to hold it, but Nats is going for a peekaboo. There you go, first kill going his way. May want to go in for more, and he might be able to get it, Nats! That's a good way to start off this map. Shados wanting to chime in on that fray. Turco is the first one to get a kill for BBL, but I'm afraid it is all but very, very late. They know exactly where MDLL is, and they can just play with time because Spike is well within their grasp.
How many times have we seen him in a clutch situation? This man has probably gone through the rhythm of a clutch situation, 1vx, time and time again. He's good. He's real good with the pistol. That did not display what he's usually capable of, I promise you, but that's going to be a good kickoff here for Mech on the defensive side. Something sort of big to point out as well is the recent, I mean, it's Breeze, so of course you can have the Viper, but even on other maps where Nats has crept his way back onto the Viper, I'm getting some real nostalgic vibes of like back in the day where I used to watch lurking Nats on Icebox, for example, and it's always nice to see him in a comfort zone. Maybe he himself feels a little bit nostalgic when he gets to play Viper, and it's a comfort zone, it's an area of expertise that really Nats perfected in the entirety of the world. People were copying him left, right, and center everywhere.
That is very, very true. You really love to seeing Nats play his comfort pick. And yeah, Breeze being the map where pretty much Viper is a must pick. I bet he's loving it. I bet he's loving it. So yeah. I bet he doesn't love the fact that he's not a must pick on any other map. But it is where it is. The meta evolves, and I, for one, I'm okay with it. Now for BBL, though, not going for the force buy. They did that map before, thankfully, learning from their mistakes and kind of realizing their aim is to get to a buy round as quickly as possible. But Kushner on an excursion at mid, looking to see if he can lurk something out of this. But the rest of them have got one very clear plan. Start to move on to this B site. Toxic Stream enabled. Chronicle left on the other side of things. Will peep in, but does end up falling. Is that worth it, though? Kushner, very aggressive. Defo finds it, realizes, oh, you're here, gets the kill, and dashes away. And just like that, it seems that BBL will start to fall. Recon to the side of the wall. A little bit of a missed shot there at the start, but a good one to recover it after that. Mech with a simple 2-0.
As a sniper lover myself, I mean, my entirety of career, I've either played snipers or I've been able to coach players upon which they were able to wield in some way, shape, or form. And I just love seeing a double Marshal setup. Could probably watch it all day. Nothing better than a double operator, but I'll take the Marshal. I'll take the Marshal if I can't get that. And on a map like Breeze, long angles upon which you're able to manipulate, that's something that Mech, crisp aim is going to come into play here, and the Turkish squad, well, they'll be full of that, and they get the full buy now. There won't be any operators in play for this, but Kushner, when he gets his ulti, that's when we'll see that kick off.
Ooh, Chronicle.
Uh-oh.
Sneaky. Not getting too much done with the Headhunter. The aggression, though, from BBL, very, very fast. His site taken over in a matter of seconds, and Mech lose both players that were defending it. Now, though, may look to find some damage. I'm glad that BBL have actually been able to get this work now with a buy round. We'll be happy about it. NDLL drops, though, and that's a Vandal. Start to put caution to the wind, because this is not over yet.
I'm loving this for Mech. Do as much damage as you can. Coming to this third round here, they're able to snag it last map right out of the hands of BBL. Do they do it again? Is Defo and Shados a good duo to do it?
Well, they're running out of time for sure, so they need to start acting quickly. Cloudburst concealing at least one of the corners, but the flash, it is accurate. It's on point, and it buys a time. Turco is revealed as soon as the smoke is deteriorated. Shados, yeah, will get spotted. Had the bird in the hand, and yeah, all that he can do is just fall back. BBL don't want to risk losing any more weapons. Vandal might be falling in his hands unless he falls victim to the spike explosion, which he does. BBL find their way on the board.
Something that we praised BBL last map on was their ability to triangulate, have really crisp fundamentals with their crossfires. That's something in that post plant there I really enjoyed seeing, and it's hard to break open a post plant like that. It's why the win condition for a lot of teams is a post plant situation like that. You're in comfortable positions, you know who's watching what. You have solidified crossfires that are really hard to break out without flashes, for example. So that's where Shados comes in. He is an absolute linchpin in retakes, and well, he wasn't quite in the position utility-wise to use it until, well, everyone else was dead.
This is a change of approach, though, even though we're looking at the same exact site. The pacing is a bit slower, not even going for the elbow take, just leaving a trademark there instead. Defo, an aggressive push by there, and doesn't pay his dividends. Shados, though, has them all revealed and is able to shoot down on them. Mech explosively taking this one home. As soon as BBL get a dub, they're able to scramble theirs right back up.
Sometimes I feel like BBL relies on site blocking or lines of site blocking utility as a bit of a safeguard, as if no one could shoot through it, for example. You know, no one's going to peek through it, no one's going to push through it. And it's always such a wondrous kind of idea and philosophy in Valorant that if I have a smoke here, or I have a fast lane here, or I have something that blocks your line of sight, all of a sudden there's nothing you can do. Well, that's a bit of a tricky mentality to get into, and I think that's something that BBL has maybe fallen into the trap of just a little bit time and time again.
Yeah, especially when a recon bolt is involved.
That helps.
Yeah. Their arch nemesis in this one. Mech? Who? No, recon bolts. Okay. Now they're starting to move on towards the A site. Toxic Stream there for them. Only Kushner given the cross so far. Aldrone, you can see how much respect Mech are giving them. Allowing the cross, but Defo, where did that come from? That was over in mid. Redgar also finding a shot here. BBL struggling to find anything out of this. In and out of battle there for Turco. Eventually gets it done with a classic. Finds a dink, but it's through the wall there for inadequate. And aim DLL, all that remains. Only snake bites to delay this potentially, but I don't see this happening. He's done it before. He's taken the words right out of my mouth. But whether he'll be able to do it again is a different story. Nats will be able to shoot him down, and Mech carry on the string of rounds.
I love that you pointed out that no one was really stopping the push into site there. No one was stifling their ability to get in and get that plan down. And sometimes teams can feel like they're in a position where they have to do that because post-plant, as we just referenced before, is such a strong win condition for teams, and you don't want to let them get into that, especially BBL, where they seemingly have some really good post-plant positioning. But I like that they gave that respect there. They backed up and said, we don't have the numbers for this, we don't have the utility for this, and if I peek out and I die, we don't necessarily now have that kind of front man to be able to engage on that retake. So that's the kind of experience that Mech has here, X, and I love to see it play out. It's just little micro things around the map, but I like it.
It's just the little things. It's the life lessons, not Valorant. Just enjoy the little things. Okay, Hot Mech really taking use of that. So far, a little bit closely contested this time around. Chronicle on the back end of the A site. The commitment of Mech towards A's, they're so confident it's here. The Seekers have just revealed the exact thing. An A site, I mean, still sticking around, but BBL stay quiet. Chronicle needs to go for scouting here. Toxic Screen. He goes past it. That's one. Simply done. Weaves in and out of battle perfectly. Survives. Nats even sprays down across the other of the Toxic Screen, and Nats will be able to reposition for more. We'll be able to help out Chronicle perhaps here, but Chronicle doesn't need help. Viper Spit enabled. But when there are two left, your hopes are pretty much dwindled down to the bare minimum. Shados unable to find a kill. MBL crucially staying alive, but not too long. And together with his death, the Viper's Pit will also have to fall. Aura, with barely any health, will have to die with a bullet to the head. Mech look unstoppable.
Did Kushner have his 2 to force out there and awkwardly move out of A-main? I believe that's what happened because it was such a strange encounter there. They had this screen up, and again, this is the thing we've been sort of criticizing BBL for. Just because there's a screen up or there's a line of sight being blocked doesn't mean someone's not going to walk through it. But it seemed like an awkward mispositioning, like they weren't quite ready for him to use his 2 to force in a way that would be most advantageous. In fact, if they wanted to, they could have waited for the screen to drop. Let's not forget that Viper got nerfed, and that was the biggest criticism criticism as to why Nat sort of stopped playing Viper as much, and a lot of other players did as well. The utility wasn't quite as potent anymore, so he could have waited that one out, and bit of a messy... I think that's a mistake there. I don't think BBL intended to have that kind of misplay there, and I would have liked to have seen what they had in them if the play wasn't quite as disjointed as that early round was.
I think BBL kind of realized that also, right? Slowing down the pace here, taking out a timeout, trying to get their heads back into the game. Because by all means, they're not a bad team. They're very, very strong hitters, very, very comfortable and clever around the game. It's just that Mech have just switched their game style just a couple of times. Those very small things, like this time around, you know, Chronicle play deep onto the site instead of leaving them push by, which that could have caught them off guard. But, you know, it's these little things that eventually get you ahead, and they keep on doing it.
We saw Mech get 5 rounds in the first map, and then things kicked off for BBL. Maybe they themselves just give Mech a head start. Maybe this is where we see things kick off, and it's the full commit again.
Putting all of their hope onto the overdrive, but it's Para to take down the defender. Quick backstab coming in from Defo and Shados, though. Surprise! Not the party you would have liked, though. It's a shooting gallery. And that is Mech disabling BBL's attack.
I blinked it, I missed it. I did blink there, X. I'm going to be honest with you. Did blink, didn't miss it. No, I think Mech read into that beautifully, and they knew that the weaponry wouldn't be strong there for the side of BBL. I think last map they gave a little bit too much respect to the side of BBL. Bit them in the butt a couple of times, a couple of thrifties coming out from BBL, and they were trying to stifle that, and, well, they suffocated that completely. No more thrifties for BBL, at least for this half by the looks of it.
Does look like it. Aslan going for the swing. Ooh, very greedy to go for that with an operator at play. Shados, even when he's stunned up, he's still able to shoot his bullets, albeit one at a time, but still gets the head. And Mech already with the numbers advantage, and that quickly hurts the attacking side of BBL.
Oh, slow down, boys. Slow everything down. They just took a timeout as well. I'm always interested in what they talk about there. Shados, dog doesn't reveal Turco. He's tucked in the corner, but a good opportunity now for them to just really take this next 60 seconds to poke and prod its sides. Bait out that utility. They're being suffocated, not just in numbers, but in that utility, that defensive sidedness, and that drone will almost give away exactly what they want to achieve here.
Defo's got a perfect angle here. If it doesn't get away with more than one kill. Oh, okay, spotted by the recon. Good enough for BBL, and actually they play explosively directly onto the backside of the B position. Redguard Defo are good enough to hold their ground, though. Unable to get them one by one. BBL are in trouble. Their hopes lie solely onto Para, but it's a short-lived hope. BBL seem to be unable to find a single hint of advantage.
We knew this was a possibility, X. We knew this 2 times ever that Mech has played this map. Have they lost it? And I don't think they were about to make it a 3rd time lucky here, so this is the kind of round count that you expect for a team that is just dominant on a map, that understands the map through and through, and it is their playground. Paradise. And for BBL, I think they wish they were in a different kind of paradise than this one.
Yeah, one which wouldn't feature sunny beaches. Maybe they're mountain friends. You know, lovers of the higher grounds, if you will.
Oh God! Oh, it's a massacre! Oh, make it stop!
They're not giving them a chance. They're not giving them a chance to breathe.
Yeah, that one's hard because as a color cast, I'm meant to break that down. And
good luck.
And I just wanted to cover my eyes like it was a scary movie on a dark Saturday night. And Nats, God,
he's feeling it.
This is difficult because we know that Mech is a defensive-sided team. If you listen to the analyst desk, which you should, because, you know, many of us feature there, 9 times out of 10, so I do implore that you watch it, but we know that Mech oftentimes relies on their defensive arm. Maybe them just winning, you know, going almost flawless on the defensive is just par for the course. Maybe in the second half, BBL comes out and shows us that Mech are fools on attack. We've seen that. We've seen that a lot. So it's not over until we really see what Mech has in their pockets for the attacking side.
Mech already know where BBL are hiding out. Guiding light shown towards elbow. Deep into elbow as well, knowing that there's movement in that direction, therefore comfortable to kind of pivot here. But Para, when did this happen? Walking all the way past. Chronicle had no clue. And that flash drive could be on point as well. Oh, darn, it's accurate. Para might be giving his team hopes. Rotation starting to move across towards the A site, and for good reason. Moving all the way from spawn, but it's going to take a while. And by that time, Para might be dead. Another flash, another swing, but Nats plays it safe.
Oh, he read him
Never
like a book.
mind.
Read him like a book.
Jumping up onto the box and gets it done, and now a Viper's pick can be dropped. BBL, you want to come towards the B side? Be our guest, but Kushina may be the other caveat in the mix. Might be able to surprise with a side swing here with the operator. But Shaders are waiting for the team. Looking at play together. Nats, oh, this is scary. Gets one. Only that, though. Viper's Pit is no more. Therefore, much less cover to hide from. And Defo, an operator in hand. Not really the weapon you really want. Especially in a 1-on-3 with multiple positions taken. MDL gets it done. All off of the back of Pora's aggression.
It's a little bit of breathing room here for BBL again. Second half might paint a completely different picture. Maybe not so a bloody one for them, but they have ultimates to work with here. We saw Pora last round had it in pocket, but considering the fact that he was lurking all the way through A and just taking little pocket fights where he could, he didn't need to implement it there. And the one thing that gave me an indication that Mech actually didn't have map control was Shados 360ing around, looking at every single angle. That's something that unpredictability that BBL can throw here on this round.
You are powerless.
This is looking a lot like how we saw Mech play it out very early on in this game. The respect coming towards BBL on this A site.
Oh,
Chronicle,
sheesh.
though, that's why you give him respect. You want to play these off angles, these long angles. And when a tour de force comes in, that's how you want to deal with this. Hunter's Fury v Hunter's Fury, though. Who gets the better off who first? Redcar jumps above it, but still trades haven't come through. Aslan looking to regress, but Chronicle is unstoppable. You don't want him on any other gun.
Nope.
Tour de Force is his home ground. That's what he loves to do. But MDL's got a good cross position. Para taken down. Whack-a-mole back into his hole. And Chronicle and Redgar are left behind. BBL will be able to take the space back. Full control. With so much space gathered. Chronicle looking to swing past it. Redcar, not a chance on the side. Which means Chronicle has a choice to make, and it's one that he will not like too much. That is fall back. Retreat, try and find a kill in the process. Unable to do so, draws out the Vandal. He's fighting for it. He's looking for more, but he will not be given it. Dies with a spike explosion. And there's only one round now left in the half.
Last round in the half.
And 8-4 actually is a bit of a shaky scoreline there for the side of Mech. A lot of people are going to scoff at me saying that, but if you go back on the numbers and you look at the attacking sidedness of Mech, it is tragic for a team that looks so dominant, looks on a complete other level on their defensive sides. The attacking prowess of them, especially in 2022, has been poor to say the least. So if they want to have a comfortable second half, we've got to see them reinvigorated, renewed, or we have to see them win this next round. 9-3 curse, likely incoming, and you know what else is incoming? And Op! And he threads the needle right between them.
Oh, not exactly what you want to do here, but Defo this time around gets it done. Oh, Kushina not swinging out with the right direction on the crosshair and ends up falling. And BBL now on the back foot. Mech heavily infiltrating this A site. No opportunity given. Guiding Light just gets everyone down, covering their eyes. And it's all down to Turco. Won't be able to do too much. Oh, never mind. He might do. Snakebite at his feet, has to take the fight and is not able to do so. 9-3. Mech get it done, at least at the final mark.
Switching sides.
Shout out to our beautiful observers for giving this top down. I love watching Valorant from a top down perspective. It's like chess FPS. You're really seeing all the pieces move around the board. And it's the minutia that sort of changes a lot of these rounds. I will say, however, whilst Fracture felt like those rounds were quite close, and we really, like, 0.08 was the difference between a round win for Mech and then, of course, a round loss for BBL. But, I mean, on these rounds, on this half, I think we can say it's been pretty dominant. I think we can definitely tell which team has picked this map and which one seems the most comfortable, but this second half really tells the tale for me. We're setting a new precedence for Mech, and we're seeing if BBL can take advantage and manipulate the mistakes that they often make on their attacking side, and they're going to start off a little quick down, get that mid control. Something BBL didn't do a lot, actually, on their half.
No. Mech actually are doing this straight out of the bat, though. Oh, might have been able to escape by. Has it been spotted? I think barely. Aslan might have noticed it. No! Oh, the dink comes back, but Aslan has got his teammates back. Mech have lost 2. 1 in deep men also. Power up. Fragment could be dropped, but it's still alive. That's the important part. 22 points of health. Aslan! Oh, he's healing himself. That is one way to get things started off on this defensive side, but they want more of it. Wouldn't mind if he got the headshot there through the wall.
Yep.
I'm not going to do that. But what's done is done. Only one player dropping from BBL as they get the pistol win.
Is that the first pistol for BBL this series? I think it might be.
It could be.
It could be. Let's have a little look here. That's my job to work out. Pistol for Mech. Pistol for Mech. Pistol for Mech. Pistol for BBL. And there we go. Breaking the trend upon which they were not able to grab the pistol. If you guys missed out on Fracture in the second round of the first half, they decided to force. And well, I tell you what, that was not pretty for them. So now that they've won their first pistol, they'll be the ones with the upper hand for the first time in a long time when it's coming to these second rounds.
All horror stories begin with the statement, they decided to force. And it could either go one way or the other. All right, let's see. Aslan, wary of it. Oh, Chronicle, though. Never going to miss that, is he? Full infiltration of the back lines. And now the decision is theirs to make Para. Need to be wary of it. Defo, once again. And Mech might be able to make it happen with the Sheriffs. BBL have shown us they can do it on Fracture, but maybe it's Mech's turn. Out into the open, multiple swings, but it's Turco to find 2, at least evening the playing field. AIM-DLL has to care for so many positions, but can't get the timing right. Redcar, beautiful shot in the ear of AIM-DLL. And now it's all down to Kushner, and he's the only one without a weapon. He's the only one that hasn't found Inspector, but it might not matter. Ghost in. Draws it down to 1 and 2, and this could be doable. But needs to find a pre-fire. Redcar down, but Defo seizes the opportunity to swing, and that's a rifle saved as well. Mech on double digits.
I do have to compliment some of the crisp mechanics of the BBL players. AIM-DLL in the first map just went absolutely nuclear with the pistols. Aslan as well on half and full buys. Kushner, I mean, wow, the team really has some phenomenal individual players, and it's a shame that it's not culminating into a wealth of rounds for them, because you can't just pew-pew yourself to a win, as a lot of people think.
Yeah. Shoot heads, everybody.
Yep.
Turco, go kill. Yeah, no Turco in this match. For this match is it's the entirety of BBL that needs to be given that command. All right, well, spike gets planted here for Mech. BBL are a little bit scared to take these fights, and for good reason. Lesser weapons, of course. Ooh, that's a dink. It's through the wall and long distance, and it's a classic, therefore barely any damage found.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Well, some damage. It's actually equalized. 3 against 3, and that could be a weapon to be salvaged. Aslan has a Vandal. This could get dangerous. Chronicle is low, but Shader somehow finds a spray down, a magical one at that. So, yeah, now their hopes are all down in the dirt. Depleted. Trampled upon. And said goodbye to. I hear the pain. I hear the pain.
Yeah.
That's BBL sighing. And you're just doing it for them.
I really am. I mean, that second round conversion, moving into the third, I mean, it's always such a heartbreak as well, because sometimes we just give the benefit of the doubt that, you know, you win pistol, you win second. We kind of throw them hand in hand. And there are some teams that are willing to pry it right out of your hands forcefully and then be able to run with that momentum. It's not just a nice little keyword we throw around, ladies and gentlemen. Momentum is great, and oh, that one's even better. I like that.
That is cool. Defo looking to dash in within the midst of the poison cloud here, set by his teammate Turco. Damaged up quite a bit. Kushner able to find first blood though, and that puts a stop to Mech's approach.
Again, we got to highlight the fact that Kushner not on the Neon. Aslan shook hands with him, traded it off, and now he gets to show off his operator skills. Aslan himself, I haven't seen a lot of his utility usage just yet. Not to great effect. Maybe still warming into things on the Neon. And watch that mini-map. That's exactly where we'll be watching for him.
Yeah, BBL are really respecting Mech. They could maybe thought that, okay, Mech probably left the player behind. They left the entirety of that A site open. And Mech didn't really need to contend with it. Not many utility used, not any players left. Para taking down, but at least he gets one in the process. A site under the control of Mech, but what's interesting is Nats pushing mid. Redgar finds a good crossfire setup. But Nets has yet to join the fray, and that is what will complicate things. He's the player to highlight here. The rest of them will get challenged from main, but as soon as the spike gets touched, that's when the pressure is mounted. Nats can't wait too long. It's already the fuse halfway. Hunter's will be used right at the start. That's the delay, but this is Nats coming in. The sneaky man he is. Chronicle gets it done. You might not even need Nats, but he's there for the guarantee. Map point, series point, it's here for Mech.
Match point.
You look at that round evolution as well, and BBL barely able to string those 2 rounds together in round 10 and 11 before losing the last round of the first half, coming in winning the pistol, and things looking like they might just sway in their way. And oh, I wanted to see what Mech had on their attack. Have they been able to fix a lot of they're not even just minute problems, they have a lot of fundamental problems on their attack, and I actually think BBL aren't pressuring them enough. This is what I got to see. Early defensive aggression. Take the fight to them, because this is when Mech struggles. When you give them time to work out what they're going to do, and oh no, I think they've just rung around the rosy against each other and they have no idea. Aslan knows. This is perfect.
Oh no, and Tucker falls towards the backside. No. Oh, Kushner says hello though, and he's got reinforcements. Guardian taking the job. Aslan gets it done, and now BBL are on top though. Spike can be recovered, but Chronicle falls, which means Shados is a solo man army. But do they know where he is? I don't think they do. They've got no clue. Oh! No more Guardian shenanigans from Aslan. Shados from a 1-on-3 draws it down to 1-on-2. Guarding lights. Everyone takes cover, but they know exactly where he stands.
We heard that.
What a force from Kushner. First time, not going to work out, but second time's the charm. BBL on 5, but they've got a long way to go.
The climb upon which they'll have to do to dig themselves out of this is so momentous that you really can't give a reference to how much they're gonna have to dig deep on it. Look at the kill spread as well. Since the trade-off from Aslan going onto the Neon and Kushner going onto the Chamber, if you're looking at the fact that Aslan is now quote-unquote the duelist and you have the pseudo-duelist of Kushner, not really, at least from a statistical standpoint, looking too good for them. So this is their opportunity now to get back into things.
Mecha going for a little bit of a push here in tunnel. Our drone hasn't spotted Defo. That could be their downfall. Beautifully done. And you've opened up the map just like that. You have to spread them out even further. Breeze is such a wide one. One gap in this defense lineup could be everything more with the timing. That is so unlucky. And Make will seize the opportunity. Nats' position is somewhat telegraphed. Kushner finds a side angle and takes down the Viper's Pit as well. But is it good enough? Aslan also wants to chime in. Aslan might be coming alive when it's most required. Shados says no though. And Kushner on the spike. Can he read Chronicle's position so far off? Now he knows. But he needs these kills. He needs to be given the opportunity. Will he be defusing it halfway? He's being played with. Chronicle. Bullets into the head. And that is Mech closing out the series in a 13-5 session over on Breeze.
We knew it would be a dominant one, but we didn't know they would absolutely massacre the side of BBL. Map number 1 of BBL's choice of Fracture. That was a closer one. That was a good one. BBL showed a lot of promise. But on Breeze, if you take Mech to Breeze and you go on their playground, you got to learn to play by their rules. And they were more than they could chew there, I think.
Yeah, I think Mech really showed their strength here all across the board. All of the players really just popped off, a lot of them. And I think it's the game, it's basically all of them all together doing the job. But of course, you guys at home are able to choose who was the better of them all. Who was the player of the match? And you can choose between Chronicle, Nats, and Shados. I don't know what my pick will be, honestly. All of them did such a good job. But if I could choose a favorite, it was Nat on that Viper. He was just loving it.
Well, I don't know who I would pick. I'm telling all the Nats fans out there, you guys know what's up. All my Nats lovers out there, I'm expecting you to come in strong. But I think as a whole, Mech, are they back in business? Hard to say, because they had their toughest opponents throughout the first sort of lot of the stage. They're going on to their quote-unquote easier opponents as they go through big and whatnot. So I think that for now, it's yet to be told. But if we can get them in playoffs position, which it looks like after this win they might get close to, things could be different. But that's all from us, for at least for BBL and for the side of Mech. We have more games coming up, don't we? We have an analyst desk. We have a beautiful studio. We have so much more. Don't go anywhere.
Dare to challenge yourself. Who's next?
Red Bull gives you wings.
Dare to challenge yourself. Who's next?
Welcome back, friends. There it is. The game is complete, and a 2-0 for Mech is what we get. Perfect timing then to bring on Nats from Mech and have a chat with our victors. Nats, congratulations on the win. How you feeling?
Hello, thank you so much. Feeling pretty good, so I guess we have to prepare for the next ones. I don't have, like I'm always saying, any feelings right now, just thinking about the other game.
It's big challenges going on. First of all, you're all in boot camp, right?
Yep. we are.
How's it feel now having everybody together playing?
Actually, I was feeling that it.
Yes, I see what you mean.
So I guess I don't have to answer that.
No,
question, right?
no, it answers itself. So thank you very much for that, Nats. How about we take a look at map 1 between you and BBL Fracture? The first half was pretty equal, 7-5 going for you on the defense. What happened in that half for then on the second one when you went to attack, you were able to sweep back and take it?
So actually, City side, it was even 7-5. Yeah, it's okay, but I guess in some kind of rounds we just didn't help each other. Played bad. What are they doing? Maybe I don't have to give the interview.
They're having
they can
fun.
Do just, they can do the sound. Look at
this. You know, at least
actually, content creators. They're talking about me. That's the content creators. That's not me. It's gonna be old Twitter right now. Chronicle doing. I don't even know how to call that.
He's doing the worm.
Look.
It's
He's
a dance.
playing like this, by the way.
He plays like this. I want to see how close it gets to the monitor with that. Well, good to know about Fracture then. But then what about...
The second half was good for us.
And then you guys went to Breeze. Now, the big question for us was, Breeze is a map you're historically very comfortable on. Were you expecting to see it there?
Yeah, actually, when we saw that it's going to be Breeze second map, we were super comfortable on that. As you know, we're playing that map a lot, and we were super confident, and we saw that it's going to be Fracture on first, Breeze on second, and everybody was happy. And third map was comfortable for us as well.
Well, what's the game plan now with your last 2 matches of this second stage of the year?
So last 2 matches, prepare every map like we're doing. Maybe prepare something new and show good performance like we're doing. I hope. I guess that was the most interesting interview you have seen.
And you know, one thing to put out, you are player of the match for this game here. So congratulations, perfect performance from you and from the entire squad. And I'm just very happy that you guys are having fun and that I get to talk to the adult in the room. So Nats, thank you for being the adult.
Thank you. I'm only the one who is no emotional and full confidence. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Nats. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's just a team of content creators, you know?
Genuine. And you know what? A team of content creators is able to take a pretty handy... Are you okay?
I am okay. I just think they're so endearing. I love them. I love also the fact that Chronicle was crawling on the floor. I think he was trying to tell us that he doesn't need his legs for what he does on the server.
Oh, well, I mean...
It was all arm work.
Okay, well, he doesn't use a foot pedal, if I know.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The foot pedal comes up again.
And it's just on the top part of his body.
All right, well, anyway.
Yeah. We were on Breeze,
Yes.
right?
We had a map, right? We had a map. They just threw us off completely because of their behavior. That's on Mac. Anyway, but Breeze, I feel like this map just reinforces what we have seen from Fracture, but in a bigger way. BBL just got outclassed on the fundamental level of understanding macro and supporting each other as a team. Like every single attack from BBL was feeling disjointed.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you guys remember what I was saying in the pre-show about Pora, that he was a very efficient lurker, and I don't see him doing that anymore in BBL. And what happened? At 8-1, the second round that BBL won was actually because of Pora's lurk.
Yes.
He was just went through double doors and gets a double kill and opens up the entire round for the team. Like, I feel like the roles in BBL are just again not paired in a complete way for the players to feel confident, and it just seems like because of that they play without like the confidence that they need.
But what I take out from today as a whole is that Mech just came in to play something comfortable, something that they have done before. They go into Breeze, they start on the defense, they know that they're going to destroy, that their default is so strong. We also saw Kushner, for example, on the other side, sometimes not using the chamber trap, something that, you know, you're actually contagion to me, that I'm actually feeling very upset about it now when I see it. And in general, as you said, every single execute looked disjointed. Mech was just on the hunt onto them. They had the upper hand on every single round, and it's kind of what we expected. But Actually, cutting some slack to BBL, it was very hard to predict what Mech was going to do for today, if they were going to swap things around on Fracture, and what was going to be their map pick. But, you know, I expected a little bit more from this. I'm not surprised with Aslan on Neon.
I mean, even though they had some cool ideas, right, they were not executed for us to enjoy, unfortunately.
Well. Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case.
I'm going to the lab, and I'm going to talk about something that Kasuga mentioned, because we had been, raging about it a little bit in the back room, is the utility from Chamber. Something that I have mentioned before, that we didn't see Executioner being the most efficient Chamber in the past, and unfortunately, like I'm a nitpicky guy, so I can say that, okay? Unfortunately, on his shoulders is the round 2 of defense when they actually won the first pistol round of the match. Look at the buy. I'm gonna zoom in on the equipment here from Executioner. This is his buy for round 2. He saves 2.8k. He has 5 bullets on Headhunter, goes for the Ghost and the small shield, so he's obviously saving for the Operator. But because of this decision, he doesn't set up anything in holes or anywhere else. He's not setting up any traps, and because of that, I'm not sure if actually Meg just knew that that's gonna be the play, but they just went through that area that was completely unguarded and get the entire map and win an eco. Under 5k was being spent by Meg in this round. And by the way, never crouch against the Sheriff, as we have seen Power did. So that's one thing. And then second round. This is the last round of the match. Executioner drops a Vandal to a teammate so he doesn't have cash for his trap. And again, literally the same thing happens. The team, the mech just exposes the fact that there's no map control, and they get another first blood because there's no security for BBL in the map department on the defense. That's such a huge issue. And by the way, if you want to fix that as a Chamber, you don't want to buy full bullets in your Headhunter because you typically don't need the full. So you can have a little bit more cash in your back pocket because it's still 5 or 6 bullets. It's enough for a round.
Yeah, it was very complicated, especially when you have that first half going that way. Meg already saw themselves as winners.
Well. That was our game, and our winners, like Kuka just said, are Mech. They take it 2-0 second map on Breeze, and now we move on to our second best of 3.